Don't just stop the story. Welcome to the show, everybody. We don't do any long intros. I'm Harry, your ring general, and this is Tyson.
Let me talk to you.
We
And
got
I'm
to
not going
look.
to start mid-story.
Why not? That'd be that. See, you gotta learn how to fucking just go with it. Just go with it. It would have been organic. It would have been great. It would have given us time to get our P's and Q's. If people wanted to trickle in, they trickle in. And you just finish your little story. Couldn't have taken that much longer. See, we would have been done by now. We're
Actually,
spending
I
more
was just
time talking. Huh?
actually I was just starting it. So, yes, it could have.
Fair enough.
That was
So
the beginning of it.
yeah. So I watched that Cody documentary that you've been talking about. I also watched Cocaine Bear
There you go. Only on Peacock,
on Peacock.
which you can sign up, not sponsored, for $9.99, and you get movies like Cocaine Bear, the Cody documentary, all the premium live events.
You said you didn't see Cocaine Bear, right?
No, I don't
You
think I
should.
will either.
Oh, you should. It's pretty. It's pretty wild. Although at some point it's going to come across your mind like, how is this bear not dead? Because it just like eats bricks and bricks of cocaine. And I don't know. I've never had cocaine before, but I've seen enough movies to know that eventually, like, you die if you have too much of it.
Yeah, you OD.
Yeah, but that never happens. So anyway, it's worth it. I mean, it's not worth going out of your like spending any money to see, but like if you're just sitting around on a Saturday or a Sunday, there's nothing on. You know, the Cowboys have a bye week or something. Watch Cocaine Bear.
I'll keep it on the docket. I'm sure there will be a day where there's just like nothing. It's like okay,
That
but right
and
now I'm
watch
rewatching
Corky Romano.
Corky Romano.
Yeah, you got to watch that too.
That's on the Peacock for $9.99.
Sure, yeah. If not, go out of your way to see it.
Well, right now I'm rewatching all the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Oh, is that on Peacock?
No, it's it's on HBO Max or
Oh,
Max, what does they call it now? But I
nice.
watch. I've been watching Hard Knocks, and then I just finished. I caught up with Hard Knocks, and then I saw the Nightmare on Elm Street. So I'm like, huh. I never really watched the Freddy Krueger thing.
Yeah.
Like I was always Jason or Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I never really watched these through. I'm gonna watch them now.
Which one are
Part
you on?
I'm on number 3.
Okay.
They didn't have part 2, or I don't know what the name of part 2 is. And I watched part 1, but I've already seen part 1.
What'd you think of part 3?
So far, so good. I'm like in the first section of it.
So
I
what? You
watch it in
just stopped
pieces.
it? Oh, okay. It's weird. Why are you so weird?
You don't watch your shows in pieces?
I watch my movies in movie format. I watch my shows in pieces.
That's the beauty of watching it at home. You can pause it when you need to. Oh, it's my bedtime. Let me go ahead and stop it, and I'll pick it up tomorrow. I watched 30 minutes tonight, and I watched, you know,
You've never watched something that you're like, man, I gotta see what happens.
yeah, but I'm just saying that's the beauty of having it at home. You can stop it and start it whenever you need to.
I don't know. If I sit down and watch a movie, I sit down and watch a movie. I know I know roughly how long a movie is. Or I look at the cover and I go, "Oh, that looks like a 3-hour movie." Not tonight.
I mean, yeah, I can see the appeal of that, but
Uh,
there's just sometimes I just got to watch it in pieces. It's now seemingly more frequent that I just watch it in pieces.
Okay, well, I didn't watch the Cody documentary in pieces. And what did you think of it?
It was excellent.
Wasn't it? It was one of the better ones. Like I think the Triple H and CM Punk one, as far as individual wrestler, are probably up there in terms of quality. But this one might be the best one yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched theirs, so I'd have to go back and watch them. But I
Really, you haven't
watched.
watched? Oh, damn.
Yeah, I haven't been much of a documentary guy, to be honest.
Oh, I love especially the WWE documentaries. Now I don't know how I don't know how historically accurate they are, especially when they talk about like the AWA and stuff. But um, the Triple H documentary and the CM Punk documentary, especially, is just fucking awesome. It was right around the time that he just did the pipe bomb and stuff. So it was his WrestleMania match with Jericho.
Yeah.
So they were kind of he was hot then, and he still had attitude and a life. Now he just kind of doesn't seem like he has a soul. He kind of seems defeated.
Yeah, I think he's doing good work.
He can't do bad work. He's CM Punk, but I don't know. He's just the magic. I don't know. Just my opinion.
I mean, does it seem he's just living off of the pipe bomb? Yes. But, you hit such a height on that, then it was really only going to be downhill from there.
That's not true. He should be like the next Austin. We should be talking about him like we talk about Austin, but we don't because they cut his nuts off.
Yeah. And before Roman Reigns, he did have the longest reigning title reign for a while.
Yeah, but
As in,
he
of the
wasn't a
modern
featured
era.
champion though. He was always either in the middle of the card or he was never like I don't know. There was a couple of pay-per-views that he main evented like with Del Rio and stuff, but then after that he was never featured. He was always undermined by Cena. Anything Cena did was precedent over anything Punk did. And Punk was always just not the guy, and he should have been.
Yes, he should have. But on a side note of that, his little feud that he had with now this wasn't after the pipe bomb, but he did this feud with Jeff Hardy. It's underrated.
Mhm.
He came out dressed like Jeff Hardy and he like tricked everyone.
Yeah, they talked about it.
And they did the sobriety thing and
yeah. It was basically when Jeff was on his way out, so he dropped the Intercontinental title.
Now, this was for the world title.
Oh, was it?
Big gold. Yeah.
Okay. Either way, he lost.
He did, but it was a good feud.
I like the straight edge society. I like CM Punk. I really do. I know he rubs people the wrong way, but I kind of like that about him. He kind of does his own thing.
That he does. When they say, "Where's his heart on his sleeve?"
Yeah. Which you got to respect him for. But anyway, let's move on to anything you want to add about the documentary.
I think it's just like made it clear that Cody Rhodes is on the road to beat Roman Reigns off of that documentary.
Yeah, I will say that I was more of a fan of the idea of Cody Rhodes before seeing this, but now I'm a huge fan of his. Just just to talk about how he talked about his first memory was what was it, WrestleMania 6 with his dad. And then he talked about how Dusty won every major title except for the WWE title or WWF title. And Dusty even they teased that he won it, but you know, he won the match by count out, and of course you can't change hands.
Which is ironic.
It is ironic, yeah.
Because we're about to something like that's about to happen. It did happen.
I could have done without the part about him going to theater school or acting school or whatever the fuck that was. But he talked about, going to LA with his sister to try to learn how to act, and how his dad pawned his Rolex so he could make the trip there and try to build a life there.
Yeah, and doing the commercials so you can keep the lights on.
Right.
Like, that's really some hard times there.
I like how it went into his FCW stuff, and how he said that I just did a eulogy, or not a eulogy. I did a Hall of Fame speech for my dad, and it basically brought me up to the main roster way too soon. I wasn't ready. And that's true in a way, but then he was with Randy Orton, which if you're going to be with anybody, he was young enough to be cool, but old enough to be experienced to teach him some shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was a fan of pretty much everything he did in that first run, and I like that he put so much effort into like everything. Even
Right.
Stardust, he was putting so much effort into it.
Right. Especially with all the stuff that I guess he said he was dealing with.
Yeah, he was just basically he dealt with his father's death, so he didn't want to be Stardust. He wanted to be Cody Rhodes. He wanted to be Dusty's son again.
Right.
Bring some, live up to the name of the Rhodes. I'm like, no, you got the Stardust thing. It's good shit, pal.
I thought it was funny when he was talking about his torn pec and how he was like, "Oh, it really doesn't hurt as bad as it looks." And his mom's like, "You're lying."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, this is the worst pain I've ever been in my life."
But it was a great visual for whatever that was worth.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, anybody listening now or later, definitely go check out the Cody Rhodes documentary
On the Peacock Network
on
that
the
you can
cock.
get for $9.99, and all the other premium live events, and Cocaine Bear and Fresh Prince, which is now a documentary. I mean, a drama. Dang it, I messed it up. Anyway, not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Let
All
me
right.
know in the comments, guys. Do you like this chick or not? The not sponsored thing. Do you like it or not? Let me know in the comments. Let's just get it out in the open.
I'd say it makes more sense if we were actually sponsored and we get shit. I don't know.
What I'm taking anyway. It's practice.
Let's let the people that won't comment.
Practice.
Let's let the people that won't comment.
Yeah, what are we talking about here? Practice, not the game.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. Monday Night Raw. So Sami Zayn started, and oh my god, this was the way that he would fucking like put the microphone up to his mouth, but then he'd stop and let the crowd just take over the whole show. I wish they wouldn't encourage the fucking cheering and shit, but that's what happened. They're in Quebec. Sammy comes out. He gets a huge pop, and it seems like forever before he actually gets to speak, or he tries to speak. He's milking the shit out of it, and it just it got really, it was beyond ridiculous. But it's because they milk in crowd noise, it's hard to tell anymore like what's natural and what's not. And the wrestlers will sell it like it's actually happening. Booze.
Yeah. Yeah, they know how to act to it. So, but you can tell if you watch the crowd, like you can tell they're not even like that's not matching. The other way you can tell is like how it just like all goes together and then just stops at the same time.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, there's some they do it the more egregious times when the crowd's just sitting on their hands, and then you hear like boo.
Yeah,
It's kind of pathetic actually. So Sammy says some shit in French, and then the Judgment Day come out, and they come out in full force, which means Finn Balor is not pouting in the back with JD McGillicuddy. So Sammy says, before you beat my ass, I have a question for you. Did you think that I would come here of all places alone? And then Kevin Owens comes out. Owens whoops on Dominic. He takes out Balor. Then he stuns Priest. And I was scratching my chin at this point going, what's the main event for this evening's Raw? And sure enough, Owens and Zayn, they challenge any two members of the Judgment Day to a match later. And then they say more fucking French. So Kevin Owens is back and he's just reinserted into what he was doing before he left.
Yeah, another week, another Judgment Day in some mixed fashion main event.
Yeah. All right, so after that we get the New Day versus Riddle and McIntyre. The match starts off with Wood shoving Riddle in the face and saying, "You're not a real tag team." And then Riddle says, "Yes, we are." And then I really skipped the rest because I couldn't care less.
Well, New Day controlled the majority of the match. They beat down Riddle.
Oh, you sound like such a mark.
Riddle finally gets the hot tag to McIntyre. He comes in.
Ooh, Mark.
He does some moves. And then at some point, the Viking Raiders, they decided that they want to keep the feud with Riddle and McIntyre going. So they attack McIntyre. And then Riddle gets hit with, I think, Midnight Hour.
No, Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. And then, yeah, Riddle takes the loss there. Yeah. Viking Raiders, dastardly Viking Raiders are continuing their feud or whatever.
Well, for some reason, they helped the New Day win, only to attack the New Day after the match.
So yeah, because they're continuing their feud with McIntyre and Riddle.
By attacking the New Day?
No, they're okay. The New Day, they were just showing their dominance. Maybe they were just showing that they're the superior tag team of all these teams, even though they haven't won a match in years.
Okay, it just don't make any sense to me. They should have just attacked both of them.
And it caused a no contest?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a weird reaction, though. The crowd was behind Riddle and McIntyre, which they brought that up later.
Yeah, Riddle for some reason's over, and so is McIntyre. I don't get it. I get it with Riddle. He's good. McIntyre, I don't know.
But well, this seems like this is furthering the McIntyre heel turn. So
yeah, I think that's where they're going, unless the tag team thing really takes off. Like, I don't know, like super hot.
But what about when Randy comes back? They need to get Randy in there. You can't have Randy without Riddle.
Well, that's if he even comes back.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah. So the Viking Raiders, they're attacking the New Day, and then McIntyre, he single handedly takes out the Viking Raiders, and then he's pissed. So then we get JD McGumby and Finn Balor backstage. The lady asked McGumble if he's worried his relationship with Finn is it's causing tension with the Judgment Day. And then McRib says he's known Finn his whole life. He's like an older brother. And he hopes that their friendship would bring the Judgment Day together, not divide them. And then Finn yells at the lady for trying to stir things up. And then Ripley interrupts so that they can talk about, who's going to face Owens and Zayn. And then McGillicuddy, he makes to go with them. And then Ripley's like, no, Judgment Day business only. And that's the end of that.
Yep. So we're building the show on which member of the Judgment Day is going to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because it's such a mystery of what way are we repeating this main event?
Right.
Because that's what we're doing.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, so then we get a really awesome Gunther video package. He says, tonight the world will witness the glory of the greatest Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time, the Ring General Gunther. Gable thinks my time is my enemy, but indeed time is my friend. Every passing day I keep building my lifelong legacy. I respect you, Gable, but you will not make a name for yourself at my expense. The fairy tale ends tonight. And then the Alpha Academy, they're backstage, and Saxon asks Gable if he has any final comments before the biggest match of his career. So then Maxine and Otis, they waste TV time, and then Gable, keep in mind this is the biggest match of his career, he does this stupid little thank you. Anything to add?
No.
Okay. So that moves us into Chad Gable versus Gunther. And just like he said last week, Gunther comes out alone. Gunther starts off with like a really painful looking arm wrench that, like, at one point he lifts Gable up by his arm and just slams him down to the ground or the mat. Gable, at one point, he tries some mat wrestling, and Gunther just like deadlifts him from the mat and just tosses him outside the ring, which I thought was fucking hilarious, amazing, beautiful, just great. He's like, fuck this. Gunther was doing this thing where he was throwing Gable around. He was like, this is my ring. This is my ring. And there's actually one point where he's in the corner. He goes, oh, what's this, Gable? What's this? And he's like kicking him and shit. It was great. I like that new wrinkle of Gunther, the cocky German guy.
Yeah.
So then, it gets to the point where Gunther, he's hitting these big moves. Like, there's a point where he's hitting them with these huge clotheslines, and he's trying to pin him, and Gable just won't. He won't be beat. And then Gunther's just starting to show some frustration. And then out of nowhere, Gable hits a deadlift German suplex, and he gets almost a pin on Gunther. And at this point, the crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome," which I thought was kind of premature, but I mean, to be fair, before I go any further, this was an awesome match. So then Gunther starts beating Gable outside the ring, and then he goes for a chop on the ring post, but Gable moves out of the way, so then Gunther chops the ring post, and it looked really like he didn't seem to pull back on it.
He sure didn't.
So then Gable, he takes that opportunity to grab Gunther in a German suplex, and then he throws him over the barricade. And then he runs inside the ring, and he wins the match via countout. And you would have thought that he won the Super Bowl.
Which, as I said, which was called back Dusty Rhodes celebrating off of the countout, only to find out he wasn't the champion.
No, he knew he wasn't the champion, though. He didn't ask for the belt. He didn't grab the belt. He didn't hold it up. He was just celebrating, and he knew he wasn't the champion. That's why I'm coming for you, buddy.
I mean, to his defense, he did just do something that no one yet on the main roster has done in the year and a half that Gunther has been on the main roster. He was the undefeated, undisputed, unpinned, unsubmitted Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And Gable was the first one to defeat that. I mean, you could say it was equivalent to beating Goldberg, but via countout.
Goldberg actually lost to somebody, though. And those somebody, he lost to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash in a handicap match. Or no, it was basically a handicap match. And Scott Hall needed a cattle prod.
I wasn't saying when he actually lost. I'm just saying, let's say Disco Inferno.
You said it's like beating Goldberg.
Let's say Disco Inferno beat Goldberg via countout. He would celebrate. That's what this.
Yeah.
Remember when they used to go through all those matches with Disco Inferno? I'm sure he was like at least 7 of the of the undefeated streak, like 7 times defeated, maybe more.
Yeah, this is like Disco Inferno beating Goldberg, because this year he has lost to Dexter Lumis. He's lost to Priest and Balor. He's lost to Priest and Mysterio. He lost to the Royal Rumble. He lost to Rollins. He lost to Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. He lost to Reed. He lost to Cody Rhodes. He lost to Ricochet. Remember the last time we saw him, he was in a losing feud with the Viking Raiders. And he was just
Viking whatever match.
Yeah. And like I said, the match was awesome. I like Chad Gable, but I don't know. I think they're just kind of handing it to him. They haven't really built him up to this moment. He's just thrown there. It's literally like they in the back. They're like, "Oh, somebody needs to beat Gunther by countout. Let's do Gable."
Well, it was noted on Monday that we are 18 days. As of that Monday, we were 18 days away from Gunther being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, which means we're also pretty close to him no longer being champion, as he's going to be moving on to bigger and better things. Seth Rollins. So,
well, you think he's just going to lose it immediately?
I think, they beat the record.
Well, no, because Damian Priest, he has the Money in the Bank contract.
So he's gonna have to lose that first.
I would say Priest has to lose first. Because you can't have Priest and Gunther. Gunther would Gunther would tear him apart.
Well, either way you slice it, however we get there, Gunther. Here we go. Here's another prediction. It's not a prediction, really. This is just showing you. This is just the writing on the wall. By the time we get to WrestleMania, Gunther is either going to be champion or he's going to be headlining WrestleMania to go for the title.
I think he's a year or two away from that.
So what? Is he going to keep the Intercontinental title for that long, or is he going to not be a champion? We're going to have the visual of Gunther just not being a champion for a long.
Well, he can button up his coat. I don't know. I mean, do you want him to hold on to the belt that long? Because I don't see the point in him dropping it and then immediately going to the title picture. So if he doesn't have it for a while, maybe he loses it and goes away for a while, retools, repackages. When he comes back, he's more focused. He goes, you know what? I lost the Intercontinental title. But I realized that it's just a stepping stone to my legacy. Seth Rollins or whoever.
Well, I've been saying that he should. The way we get the title off of him is we do the. Okay, you can go for this title, but you're gonna have to relinquish the Intercontinental title. So he never gets pinned. Now, of course, that doesn't put the next person over. But once he loses the Intercontinental title, it's probably going back to the mid card, like you know the unimportant part of the mid card, like where the United States title is down there.
It depends on who beats him. If it's Shush Boy, then yeah.
Well, who else? Who else can beat Gunther?
Nobody.
Now, I just kind of gave it away right there.
Think about it though. Gunther beat Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in the same match. And while Gable is a good wrestler, he's not Drew McIntyre and Sheamus at once. So for him to be the one to be the one, you know what I mean?
Well, we're kind of saying, he's the one that could wrestle with Gunther. He is also an Olympian.
And he's not even taking it seriously. He's still shushing and thank youing, and it's just fucking stupid. They haven't even tried to build him up. And they still have a little model girl. Just I need to talk. I need to say things because I have tits.
When in reality, she shouldn't be saying anything and just standing there looking good. That's their purpose.
Or making a sandwich.
Like, why are you saying words? Why are you speaking? You didn't get spoke to. You don't know how to act right. Come here. I'll help you.
So yeah. So Gable's celebrating, and then Vinci and Kaiser, they come out and they demand that the ring girl announce that Gunther's still the champion, which I thought was funny. And then later on, Gunther screaming German in the back. And Kaiser says, I'm going to make this right. And then he sneers at Vinci. He goes, what are you going to do? And then Vinci looks scared. And that's it.
I didn't get that.
What do you mean?
Like, what? Why is he mad at them? Why is Gunther mad at them? They were in the back. They had nothing to do with the match at all.
I don't
And-
think Gunther wasn't yelling at them, though. He was just yelling. I don't think he was taking it out on them.
I know, but why do you say I'll take care of this?
Kaiser?
Yeah.
Because he loves Gunther.
Well, it just seemed like Gunther was taking his frustration out on them. Like it was
No.
their fault.
No.
They weren't there at all.
He was clearly screaming in the back as if they weren't there.
Okay, maybe we took it differently.
Yeah, Kaiser and Vinci, they're standing in the foreground while Gunther's in the background just screaming, and then Kaiser looks to Vinci and he goes, I'm gonna make this right. What are you gonna do? And then it ends with Vinci just looking scared while you hear
You went back to it?
Huh?
I said, you went back to it?
Yeah. I had to paint the picture.
Yeah, I thought the one was going to be enough.
Well, no, that's what happened. That he was screaming in the background the whole time. It was great. But no, I don't think he wasn't taking it out on them. He may on Monday, but
well, when Kaiser loses to Gable, I'm sure that's not going to go over well.
Right.
And I was going to say, what if Kaiser's the one that takes down Gunther? Because Gunther's been taking his anger out on them.
If they build
like
correctly.
The punching bags.
Yeah, if they build it correctly, I wouldn't mind that.
Could be that. Could also be Dragunov.
Yeah.
Could also be Braun Breaker.
No, fuck him. Little nobody.
You said little nobody?
Yeah.
Well, he'd be more believable.
He's going to be the next Ryback. I think he did. Didn't he lose to Braun Breaker in NXT?
Who?
Gunther.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Positive.
Oh, yes, he did. Sorry. I forgot about that. That was back in the trying to get Braun Breaker. Yeah, I forgot. That was stupid because,
Well, I mean, it's a different promotion. Yada, yada, yada. Or brand.
They're trying to get this young kid. But yeah, I think that was before his main roster debut. So
yeah, it was his final match in NXT. So he went out on his back. Like he should. He put over Braun Breaker.
What about Dijak? He could take down Gunther. People aren't giving Dijak enough credit. I haven't even watched Dijak for like a second since he's I hear good things about him, but I haven't watched. No, I did watch the Dragunov match. I forgot about that one. Oh, no. That might make match of the year. I don't know.
I don't know. There's nobody that I can see. Now, as much as I like to see it, I am realistic, and Gunther is not going to be undefeated, and he might even have to have a losing streak. But if they want to protect his, his loss record, his true loss record, then they either better build Gable up better, have him stop doing the fucking shushing.
Well, I don't think he's going to stop shushing. It's his thing. He's got to get, you got to have a thing. You can't just be a good
He can do
wrestler.
a different thing. Now, if it was the Chad Gable that was with Jason Jordan, and remember they were wrestling the Revival?
Yeah, what were they called? Alpha. They weren't Alpha Gatly.
I don't know.
They're like a. Remember the greatest tag team ever? That was their name. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
Yeah.
They were like a reincarnation of that,
Yeah.
which was a good team. But
They were. They were a great team. So if they, I
American
mean,
Alpha.
what I'm saying is, if it was that Gable, that's one thing. But now you've had him shushing, and he's losing to fucking Ricochet, who Gunther beat twice. He lost to Mustafa.
Yes, yes, yes. He's a loser, but now he's a winner.
That don't make any sense because they haven't built him to be a winner. That's my
Well,
point. He's just
the,
been thrown in this.
the problem is with what you're wanting. There's no one on the roster that is even being primed to be on the level of that. So
Then
then that means Gunther would have to hold the title until someone's ready in that position. So
exactly,
now we're going like another year is with him as champion.
or at least 6 months, or 3 months, 4 months. Put some fucking time and effort into it. Don't just put Shush Boy in a position to fucking beat Gunther in a count out. Don't have him shushing and thank you in with model tits, stealing his little speech. Byron
She had
Saxton,
straps down and everything. Woof,
yeah,
woof.
Byron. Saxton asked Gable what he has to say, and Otis and fucking Titty Girl are taking over everything. And the only thing he has to contribute is thank you. Come on.
Because I said it for him. Oh, thank you.
No. No.
Well, we'll tell you how it's going to turn out later on.
I wouldn't be surprised though if it turns into I find it hard to believe it won't go into Payback. It seems like they have room for a match.
You see, that's what makes it so brilliant. At least that's what I took away from it. For me, this was a brilliant finish. You needed, if you were going to extend this feud, which obviously they would need to because Payback is coming and there's no other feud you can start to get to Payback. And they've already established they weren't going to do this match first at Payback. So you do a count out that extends the feud because if Gunther beats Gable clean, that's it. there ain't no more match.
Not true.
So you get there's no more believability, we'll say.
That's not true.
Okay.
No, go ahead. You say your thing. I'll say my thing after you.
So you get the DQ finish. That gets you now to the Payback match. Gunther's clearly going to beat Gable at Payback. Well, maybe not. You have to stay tuned for our predictions. Now you get him, because again, we're 18 days away from him being the longest reigning IC title holder. So now that gets you to him getting that accolade. And now it's fair game after that.
Yeah. Or Gunther could have beat Gable, but he could have just barely beat Gable. And then afterwards, Gunther would go for the post match beatdown or something. But then Gable would German suplex him. So then you still have Gunther mad after the match. Kaiser wants to defend Gunther's honor by having a match on Monday. Then Gunther goes out and tries to do another post match beatdown. And then Gable says, "Hey, Gunther, you almost lost to me last week."
He's gonna go for. Who said that? Almost a superhero, Nikki Ash, Nikki Cross, back when she was this almost superhero.
Sure.
I almost beat you.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't, so there you go.
So you wanted to, your boy wanted to challenge me. Well, I challenge you. Payback. And then, And Gunther could even laugh at him like, I already beat you. It's like, what are you, a pussy? And then Gunther goes, that is ridiculous. And then, but Gunther usually doesn't back down from a challenge. So
Yeah, and I also like the story they're telling here that Gunther's all cocky as he is growing more and more cocky. And, he was telling Gable, "You're nothing. I could beat you." But he couldn't beat him. And he's growing frustrated. Like, why can't I beat this guy? I'm Gunther. And then Gable just kept sticking around. Hit that beautiful suplex, German suplex, stalling. From like Gunther's on his hands and knees, and he
yeah,
he
it was a good
overpowers him
match.
at that point.
It was a good match. Gable is great. And I don't have a problem per se with Gable being the one to be in this position. They just haven't properly built him up to be in this position. And he's still, the company he keeps holds him down too. But we'll see what happens.
We will see, because I think the window's closing soon. So if it ain't happening soon, it ain't gonna happen. And now we got to move on to someone new.
Speaking of moving on, we get a Judgment Day backstage segment. And Finn wants to team with Dominic. Priest wants to team with Dominic. And then Priest says some shit in Spanish. And then, or was it Dominic? Maybe they both did. I don't know. And then Ripley tells them to figure it out before she gets back because they can't decide on who wants to be partner. Basically, Priest and Finn don't want to partner together because they don't trust each other.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to, because apparently that's the only direction that they can go.
The only possible thing that they could do.
Yeah.
So then we get a Cody Rhodes backstage segment. Byron Saxon wants to know how he felt about getting his ass kicked last week by the Judgment Day. He calls McGruber a Funko Pop. And then he says, this ain't working. Let's take a walk. So then he goes to the little entrance ramp and he goes, that's better. He asks Canada what they want to talk about in fucking French. Cody acknowledges the new commentary team. And he says the Judgment Day is so strong because they have the numbers. Where that shouldn't be a factor is down the road where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn grow up. He asks the crowd to be with Owens and Sami Zayn tonight. And they're all going to watch the Judgment Day rise and fall. And god damn, you were not joking about them not having anything to with for Cody.
Yeah, they do not have anything for Cody.
He's out there cheering on the other wrestlers. Think about that. He was feuding with Brock Lesnar, and now he's I need you to support Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for this match that they're gonna have next week. I mean, this week, next week too.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll have it next week too. I'm sure it's already on the board.
So then we get a really awesome Shinsuke Nakamura. What would you call it? A sit-down interview, video package?
Yeah, it was a pre-recorded video package.
Okay. And everyone's been wanting to know what I whispered to Seth Rollins. He's the guy that has it all. Charisma, prosperity, a championship.
Hold on.
Yep.
It's really important to note here, this whole promo was in Japanese with subtitles. So don't think Shinsuke was saying all this in English.
But I know Seth. I whispered, Seth, I know about your back. Seth's back has been broken for many years. He lives in pain. Pain creates a void nothing can fill. When he hugs his wife, he feels pain. When he picks up his child, he feels pain. He's a champion, but every day his life is pain. His worst fears are coming true. He knows I can break him once and for all. We're not so different, me and Seth. We live by a specific code. The very code that's written on Seth's back. The back that is crumbling and betraying him right now. Are you satisfied with what you've done with your life, Seth? Because I won't be satisfied until I take this burden from you. Watch your back. And yes, it was all in Japanese for the most part. And it was awesome. Talk about being thrown into a feud, but still pretty fucking awesome how they're doing it.
Yeah, that one little segment. By the way, I did mention last week why I don't know why they didn't do a pre-recorded segment. Why they had him out in the middle of the ring. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they had to get the whisper thing out there.
Right.
But
I guess
they brought it back. They did the right thing. The subtitles. At this one little promo made me interested in the match, or invested in the match, I should say.
Yeah.
You know, it was going to be skip fodder, but now it is actually like I'm interested, and I just wish we could have portrayed this Shinsuke like on since night one. Even
That's
maybe
how
coming back to Raw. Like this Shinsuke is like a main eventer right here.
Yeah, I appreciate serious Shinsuke. The sneaky, underhanded, devious. You don't know what he's going to do, Shinsuke. He's basically a Japanese Terry Funk.
And he's playing so many mind games.
Yeah, he is.
And it's like, yeah. The master manipulator that is Shinsuke.
But yeah, I can't wait for the match. I'll skip the woe spot.
And I also said, remember last week I was saying, you know, are they finally going to have the world champion main event a show? Now, there's no question about it. This is the main event of the show.
By default.
No, I'm saying this because of the one promo right here. Now it's the main event. It wasn't a main event before. Like you could have done, I don't know, Becky and Trish, still cage match. But now, this no question is the main event. This is the headline of the show.
Well, moving on, we have Ripley with Dominic versus Candice LeRae. And Candice LeRae, this dumb bitch, actually came out wearing little fairy wings.
It's because she's the poison pixie. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
keep it moving.
Yeah, but she got her ass whooped by Candice LeRae, and she's also defending her friend No Definition Rodriguez. So for her to come out in pixie wings when she's facing the Eradicator, it doesn't make any sense.
She's the poison pixie.
God, whatever, fucking retarded. So, it starts off with Ripley being dominant, but then LeRae counters Riptide into a DDT. I'm not sure why somebody half of Indy Hartwell size is putting up a better fight than Indy Hartwell. I thought the match with Indy Hartwell was better. I thought that was a better portrayal of Ripley for her to have even a remotely competitive match with this little stick with fucking pixie wings.
The
It's just
Poison Pixie, Candice LeRae,
stupid.
Mama Wrestling or Mrs. Wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah, she's 4 foot nothing. It's stupid.
Well, Mrs. Takeover.
Whatever. So then Ripley gets LeRae into this brutal standing like clover leaf thing, and she submits the fucking idiot pixie. So that No Definition Rodriguez comes out to her stupid little music, and she's carrying a crutch, which she's pretending that she's hurt, and then she tosses at Ripley and starts to kick her ass. And then they fight their way back to the ring. No Definition hits a fallaway slam, and then grabs the mic to say that she's cleared and it's on at Payback. Oh joy! And it was kind of interesting to see Ripley, who has definition and muscles, with next to Ripley or No Definition Rodriguez, who doesn't.
I'll go you one better. Ripley may be the most jacked one in the Judgment Day.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like, have you seen her delts? Her traps?
Priest might be strong, but he's not like muscular. And Balor's muscular, but he's not. I don't know. He looks more like a concentration camp survivor than somebody that would beat your ass.
Well, there's a picture, I think it was last week, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago. It circulated around the interwebs. Rhea Ripley was standing with the Judgment Day, and she was like, yeah, clearly head and shoulder more jacked than anybody in the group.
Yeah, she's definitely got guns, and she definitely throws some weight around in the gym. She definitely is not No Definition Rodriguez. That's all I'm saying.
Who has a great back herself. Give her credit there.
No, she doesn't.
The striations, good striations.
She's got nothing.
Nice. Whatever.
Yeah. So then we get a Tommaso Ciampa backstage little video package. He's here to take over the game, and he wants to be the guy and not a guy and whatever.
And he says he's going to do it himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Teasing DIY getting back together.
Okay.
Now, remember, I did point out that they were rebuilding the tag team division. And then now Kevin Owens is back, so I called it here first.
Okay. So then we get the Miz. Montreal says something, or I'm sorry, Quebec says something.
They want Maurice.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Miz says, Maurice is from Montreal. She would never come to Quebec. And then he mentions how LA Knight lost his title opportunity at SmackDown, and everybody blames him for it. He says, there's no room for excuses at the highest level. The Rock interfered in my match with John Cena, and I still retain the title, which he did. 20 years from now, you'll remember me as a game changer. 20 years from now, you'll remember LA Knight as the Hoobastank of WWE. Knight is not on my level, and to prove it, I have handpicked an opponent more dominant, more terrifying, more devastating than Knight has even dreamed of facing. Cue Akira Tozawa.
Which I told
you did. You called it. Absolutely. So Tozawa, he gets to the ring, and the Miz asks him questions where Tozawa gets to answer with yeah.
Which I did LOL at.
I rolled.
Like, he said, "Is this the biggest match of your career?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh,
I laughed.
okay. I rolled my eyes, but whatever. To each his own. So naturally, the Miz gets mad, and then they start their match. And just as the match starts, LA Knight comes out.
Hold on,
And
you forgot the most important part
oh, go ahead.
of that whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Akira Tozawa, he kept doing the yeah, and then Miz was like, did his thing. Really? Yeah.
Ugh.
Really? Yeah. Really? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry I glossed over that.
Yep, I had to go back. I had to make sure you didn't miss that. It was like it was it was equivalent to Jay Lethal and Ric Flair doing the woo off in TNA.
No, it was not.
Okay.
You shut your pie hole.
Which may be the greatest thing ever in pro wrestling.
Just about, yeah.
Unfortunately, it was in TNA.
Yeah. Although when Ric Flair he elbow dropped his jacket in WCW, I thought that was the funniest shit ever. When he got so mad, he just started beating up his clothes.
Oh yeah, and throwing his clothes out into the fans.
Yeah.
Elbow dropping money. Oh, and the knee roll when he dropped
Yeah.
the knee and
He would
roll.
knee roll his jacket.
Yeah.
So LA Knight comes out and he's carrying some tissues and he throws them at the Miz and he goes, "Cry some more." And he gets on commentary and Tozawa takes that opportunity to take control of the match. And he tries to roll up the Miz, which he fails at, which they're doing a lot of like failed roll ups, which I think is stupider than the actual roll up itself.
Yeah.
Because they've conditioned us to the roll up is the cheap way for a victory. So you get the distraction and they get the roll up, but then you have the person kick out of the roll up. So now the person doing the roll up looks stupid. Like they can't take advantage of a distraction for a cheap win.
Yeah, you were right though. They did condition us to say, "Oh, that's it." There's no way he's getting out of that roll up.
So there's a part where the Miz starts kicking Tozawa and he starts shouting at LA Knight and he's like, he kicks Tozawa, "You're my space." Then he kicks him again, "You're BD babies," which I thought was, I LOL'd at that.
Funko Pops.
Miz tried to throw Tozawa into the commentary where Knight was sitting and he failed miserably. And then Knight says, "Miz is what you get if Biff Tannen banged a frog and you pushed him down the stairs," which I don't know what that I don't know what that means, but I don't know why he would be allowed to say that on TV. Banging frogs. So Tozawa turns a skull-crushing finale into a roll-up for a clean win. And then Knight sneaks in and he hits a blunt force trauma after the match. And then he throws another tissue at Miz.
Yep, building towards their match.
Yep.
LA Knight versus Gatekeeper Miz.
So then we get McIntyre and Riddle backstage. And McIntyre is trying to break up with Riddle. And then while that's happening, the New Day interrupts. And they're like, "You know what? You showed us something. We have the Viking Raiders next week. But after that, if you want a rematch, we're all about that." And Riddle's like, "Please, please, 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 please." And McIntyre just walks away and he doesn't really confirm or deny if he's interested in that.
Still teasing that heel turn.
Or maybe he just doesn't want to be a tag team. He doesn't necessarily have to turn heel.
Oh, he's turning heel.
Because he was doing it politely. He was like, this just ain't working.
I know. That's building towards the heel turn. Like, I keep telling you no, and you keep, like,
I keep
forcing
telling you
yourself.
no.
You're forcing yourself on me like you did. Anyway. And and I said, no, enough's enough. And then I'm fighting back. And finally, he's just going to get his wits in and to Claymore.
All right. Well, then we get another Judgment Day backstage segment. We find out that Priest and Finn Balor could not figure their shit out. Remember that Ripley earlier left Priest and Finn Balor to determine who's going to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And both of them wanted to team with Dominic, but they didn't want to team with each other, and they couldn't fucking figure anything out. So then Priest says that Finn ran into the warm bosom of McQuaid and that they don't trust each other. So then Ripley's pissed and she goes, "We're going to do it my way now." And then Priest just tries to look like he didn't just get bitched out by Ripley.
Yep.
So after that, we get Becky Lynch. She shouted some things about Trish. Trish came out in a black hat and called us US a-holes. Trish said that it's going to be in her home country in Quebec. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. Like, did she screw up? Or was she, like, pretending to cry? What the fuck was she doing?
At what point?
At the beginning. She started saying my home country, in Quebec, and then she stopped.
I think the fans were chanting something.
Okay.
And they kept chanting something. And she kept saying, I can't understand you. I don't speak French.
Well, no, that was after she said that, this means nothing to me. But before that, she started saying it's going to be in her home country. And then she stopped. And then she basically just started over again.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. It was weird. So she goes, "It's great to be in my home country in Quebec. You have no idea how much this means to me, which is absolutely nothing. This isn't Montreal. You're not even Toronto." Then she makes a Justin Trudeau joke that just completely bombed. The crowd starts shouting on Trish in French, and that's when she said she doesn't understand. And I skipped it because Trish on the mic was starting to get tedious to me. It's like ear aids.
She didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
It was just somehow we led to Trish said she was going to prove she's the greatest of this generation or her generation or any generation. And this all led to having a match built set up for next week. Zoe Stark versus Becky Lynch in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So before Becky moves on to the pay-per-view, she's going to beat Zoe Stark again.
Oh, boy. Moving on, we have Chelsea Green and Piggy Niven versus Chance and Carter. Was it Katana Chance and
Caden Carter?
Caden Carter. Okay. Niven slams her bulbous frame into Chance.
Golly.
Or Carter. I don't know which one it was for the win.
She squashed.
Niven holds up the tag belts with her hooves, and then she carries Green to the back like a mule, and that's it. They're successfully defended their tag titles with Piggy Niven and her bulbousness.
She pinned Katana Chance
Okay.
with a splash. They still chose both the biggest one in the match to literally fall on the smallest one in the match.
Okay. So yeah, Green and Piggy are a thing. Looks like they're riding with it.
Yep.
So then you get Seth Rollins backstage. I skipped the part where he made the people woe. So then the lady asks if there's any truth to what Nakamura said about his back. And Seth confirms that he has 2 spine fractures and that he's been living with it for 4 years. And he says it doesn't get any better, it actually gets worse. And he doesn't know how long he can keep it up going at this level, the highest level. Then he goes, if he wants to bring my wife and my family into this, he better be prepared to face me man to man. Which, yeah, he mentioned Becky hugging him and him holding his kid, but did he really bring his family into it?
That was the part. Now, yeah, of course he could have. He didn't like go too far. Like, oh, well, I'll be her daddy when.
Yeah, I'm gonna
when I
fuck
take
the
you
shit
out.
out of Becky while you're learning to walk again or something.
And you're gonna watch.
Yeah,
Because
you're gonna be
as you're wheelchair bound, you're not gonna be able to get it up for her.
you're gonna be in one of those little rack things. I'm gonna position you to where you're standing, and you're gonna watch while I ram her from behind.
You're gonna be paralyzed from the neck down. But your brain's gonna be functioning. No one's gonna be home, but you're gonna have to sit there and watch as I pound her.
I'm gonna have her straddle you, and the drops of sweat from her forehead are just gonna fall on your face.
Yeah, we're gonna use your wheelchair.
But no, all he said was you hug Becky and it hurts when you do that. It hurts when you pick up your kid.
We're gonna form your hand into a seed and make you hold on to her hair as a
I thought that was a bit of an overreaction. So then Seth says, next week you get one more chance to play your mind games. And I'm not hard to find. I'll be at the center of the ring, dressed to the nines, with my title, and the people singing my song. So that sets up Nakamura and Seth Rollins having a face-to-face confrontation.
Yep. And Seth Rollins has talked about his little injury before. I think he mentioned it. I heard it on Impulsive. So he has talked about it publicly.
Okay.
Says, he's been wrestling like last year he wrestled like 270 nights a year.
Mm-hmm.
And
he does wrestle a lot.
Yeah. He just doesn't know at what, how long he can keep going at that pace. Obviously he's going to have to slow down, so he's just riding it out pretty much. I think he said he like needs surgery for it or something. So
okay.
He said he's just going to ride it out until it gives out on him, and then he's
And that brings us to our main event. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus the team of Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Ripley made both of them tag. In her infinite wisdom. Maybe they shouldn't let Ripley do things her way ever again. So it's been a month since Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have teamed together. and they're immediately in. I'm pretty sure this is the match that they left with. So I skipped the match because we've seen it. I don't care that Kevin Owens is back. It's a tag match with the Judgment Day and Sami Zayn, and I'm over it. There's a part where McShay comes out. He comes out of nowhere and he tosses the money in the he tosses the Money in the Bank briefcase into the ring. But then Owens catches it and he hits Balor with it. So then Priest is all pissed off about that. But then the Judgment Day, they start beating up on Owens and Zayn. And then Cody comes out with his strap and starts whacking on Dom. And he says, Raw doesn't end like that. There's 3 of us. There's 3 of you. Let's go now. So now we got a 6-man tag. Pierce comes out. He makes it official. Everyone does their finisher to Dominic for the win. And yeah, that was our main event.
Yes. And there was I lost the stat. I forgot to write it down. There was a stat that this Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn thing with the Judgment Day has been going on. Someone had like the stat of how many how many times this has happened since WrestleMania.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Pretty much every week, except for like that one stint where they did the bloodline stuff.
Ugh.
Like, yeah, it's pretty much been every week since WrestleMania.
They wrestle Pretty Deadly.
Oh yeah, there was that too.
Once. You know what? Indus Sher should have come out and attacked Owens and Zayn.
Speaking of which, good thing you bring them up. There is a India Super Show coming up that won't be televised, by the way. It's just basically a India house show, but Indus Sher will be facing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the titles on that night, and also John Cena will be appearing there, as he's going to appear on SmackDown this coming week, and then he's going to be at that show. Why this is not on TV, I don't know, but there you go.
All right. Which means the titles won't change hands.
We'll see about that. They are in India.
But Indus Sher definitely should have attacked them. It would get Owens and Zayn out of this stupid fucking Groundhog Day, Judgment Day bullshit. And Judgment Day can do something. They can be dominant instead of just beating up on the same guys. Because now next week, the Judgment Day is going to win. And then next week, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to win. It's just going to be the same shit over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's like we're buying our time until November. What the hell is the pay-per-view in November? War Games.
Oh.
Survivor Series. But we're pretty close there, so there is that.
All right. Well,
you know, if we get to Survivor Series with this combination of matches, and this would have been all year we've been having to deal with this since WrestleMania.
And how is the War Games any different than what they've been doing on Monday Night Raw?
Well, War Games, I don't know. It's not.
Okay.
There's a cage instead.
Okay. Well, that brings us to SmackDown. SmackDown was really weird. And it was weird in the fact that, one, we lost Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt.
One day apart.
And Terry Funk, I remember him being introduced as Chainsaw Charlie when Mick Foley was Cactus Jack and they were feuding with the New Age Outlaws. I know he's been around long before that, but I think that was my first time seeing him. And I remember he was in the Beyond the Mat movie, and he was really old, and like he said, it took him like an hour to get out of bed. He was retiring then, and he still wrestled like 20 years later.
Yeah, and to peel back the curtain a little bit, we were of the age where Terry Funk was past his prime, so we didn't get
Oh
to
yeah.
see the Terry Funk in his prime. We saw like
Oh, I mean,
the Attitude
I,
Era.
his match with Ric Flair going back, it's good stuff. They did this thing where Terry Funk did a pile driver through a table onto Ric Flair, and it broke his neck. It's great.
Yeah, he was. Now, my biggest memory, well, like match wise, so I do remember Chainsaw Charlie, and he had the pantyhose on his head.
Right.
It's so ridiculous.
Yes.
But I remember like there was that Royal Rumble with him and McFoley, and they're pretty much fighting the whole the whole Royal Rumble,
Right.
and they had a hardcore match in the middle of a Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I liked the matches he had with Mick Foley. I like the matches he had in general.
Yeah, I hear like some of his ECW stuff was really good.
Oh yeah, it was very good. And you know, he didn't start doing the moonsault and stuff till he was like 50.
Oh my,
So
it's a
like he
late
got
time to
crazy.
add it to the game.
Yeah. Well, when
Should
he
be
was doing the
retiring at that
NWA
point.
stuff, he was doing NWA stuff. It was more black and white, and you'd hate it. I love it, but
Yeah, I can't watch
then,
anything that ain't in 4K.
then he just evolved into this crazy hardcore old man. It's great. Yeah, and then we lost Bray Wyatt, which is kind of weird. I'd say seems to be the first active roster death since Chris Benoit. Somebody threw that out there.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
And I I really liked the cult character, the Eater of Worlds. I think they really dropped the ball with him. He'll be one of those people that will just be a big what if than really anything. I know a lot of people now are going to try to Kurt Cobain him, but
Oh, it's already happening.
I know.
And it's like, oh, you remember you bastards didn't appreciate him while he was here.
Well, he didn't really do anything to be appreciated. He had that Pitch Black match, which was an abomination
For you, I
for
was
objectively.
I for one was a Bray Wyatt guy. He could do no wrong for me. I
Yeah, I
was
thought
I was
the Fiend was stupid. You know what really where he just like failed, or where WWE failed him, is when John Cena, when he got his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar on that SummerSlam. Remember that?
Yep. Suplex City was born.
Uh-huh. The Raw after that, John Cena gets into it with Bray Wyatt. And then John Cena does to Bray Wyatt what Brock Lesnar did to John Cena. And it just completely destroyed Bray Wyatt. Completely killed him. All because Cena needed to have his little ego check. But the Eater of the Worlds, that was great. He probably should have beat the Undertaker. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
I thought the Fiend was stupid, and I thought the Pitch Black match was stupid. Sounded like he wanted to do horror movies versus wrestling, which I mean, he was very creative, but it didn't necessarily translated into the ring.
Well, there you
But
go.
what's that?
I said, there you go. Stay, at least you stay consistent there.
Yeah. But he was an innovator. His promo was, I'd say he was a black belt in terms of promo. And I liked his matches. I just didn't like his gimmicks. But it's a shame we won't get to see what he, what kind of crazy shit he comes up with.
Well, I think, yeah, he was clearly the most, one of the most creative minds in the business. Maybe like him and Matt Hardy, maybe probably two of the more creative minds. He made you feel, and that's what I would say is important in wrestling. Like,
True.
maybe you hated it, maybe you loved it. Like, you hated it, I loved it, but you were talking about it afterwards. You weren't talking about, I don't know, Ricochet doing his 900 450 splash, but you're talking about what Bray Wyatt did. I mean, here we are. I couldn't tell you one thing that the pitch black match was at what was that, at Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
And then outside of the actual Royal Rumble, I couldn't tell you anything else that happened on that show. Like,
Cody won. Gunther was
no,
number
I'm saying
one.
outside of the Royal Rumble match. I
Oh,
couldn't tell you anything else that happened on that show. And then you go to like WrestleMania when you had the feud with the Fiend. Alexa Bliss was in it. Randy Orton was in it. And
yeah, that was just dumb.
there was like that short, they had like a, I don't know, short 7-minute match. He loses off one simplistic RKO. This is after he got literally burnt alive by Randy Orton. And what I remember about that was like the crowd from this match was on their feet chanting "Holy shit!" and it had nothing to do with the wrestling match. It was when Alexa Bliss pops out of the Jack in the Box. The crowd sitting there chanting "Holy shit!" It was probably the only time they had chanted that the whole night. Now this was also like, this was like right after a pandemic, so the crowd's just newly back. So no one else was captivating them other than what the Fiend was doing. And then, you know, it gets the boos and that was stupid because it just kind of abruptly ended like it did.
I don't know. Just I think once you're at the point where you're lighting things on fire or people, like what else are you gonna do? If lighting the Fiend on fire won't beat him, what are you gonna do?
That that did beat him. Alexa Bliss had to do a seance to bring him back.
Yeah, but he came back.
I know, and he was burnt. Like Jason
But he
Jordan.
still came back.
She had to do, she was in a pentagram and she had to do with the
Right.
candles around her and she had to do the thing. I don't know.
And he came back,
That
right?
demonic ass shit she had to do to bring him back to life. And it
But
was
he
like,
came back to life. And they would have had another match with Randy Orton and won.
yeah, he should have beat Randy Orton after coming back. Like, you got burnt alive and you came back. And so, but yeah, he had like, you know, all this creativity. And you have the WWE, they just kept finding ways to fail him. Losing to The Undertaker, losing to John Cena. These are two big matches he should have done.
he
Probably the most
he
egregious one was losing to Goldberg for absolutely no reason.
no reason. He lost to Goldberg as the Fiend.
Yes. And even that, the Fiend, you said the character was stupid.
Mhm.
That SummerSlam he debuted with against Finn Balor. You know, he was playing the little.
Oh, I thought it was with Seth Rollins.
No, he debuted with Finn Balor,
Okay.
and he's playing that little buddy Mister Rogers character type. And he's like, "I got a dark side, and I'm going to show you at
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
WrestleMania." And then, yeah, the presentation of the Fiend is just something like everybody that saw it was just like enamored with it.
Not me. I thought it was
He
dumb. I
comes
thought it was a. It's obviously Bray Wyatt in a mask.
and he
And
comes out.
then he was wearing those weird pants and the tank top, and he had like chicken legs, and he's pudgy, so he looked weird.
Is this my story or your story? You had your story. I'm telling my story.
Okay, I apologize. I apologize.
He comes out and he's got the lantern that is his old head as the lantern.
That was
The
awesome.
mouth was like pulled open to have the light in it. And yeah,
That was a nice touch.
and yeah, the as he debuted that character, everybody was just like, "What the hell?" In a good way. Now, of course, some people didn't like it, but it was just something that just you remembered and you felt.
Yeah,
Seth Rollins, the Hell in the Cell debacle.
I remember the bugs, the little projector with the bugs and the yeah. By the way, the Royal Rumble consisted of Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss,
Didn't remember
and then
it.
Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. That's when they super kicked the shit out of him, and Sammy had enough.
Oh, okay. So you remember that? Okay.
And then Rhea Ripley won.
The Sami Zayn turn. Okay. So yeah, that was something memorable.
Well, and Gunther, really, Gunther was the highlight of Royal Rumble.
And then you had him debuting with the Husky Harris character and
Yeah,
the
he was in the
Nexus.
yeah, it was in the Nexus for a day.
Yeah, and I don't remember if that was the Nexus 2 or the next like the first version of the Nexus.
I
Because they
believe it
had
was like the very first version.
okay, because yeah, they had that second version. They had the Ryback, sorry, the Batista wannabe or look-alike. I don't. He didn't want to be the Batista. He just looked just like him, Mason
Mason
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah.
But yeah, he did the Husky Harris thing, and then we move on to he gets
Oh,
the
you know what? He might have been the Punk Nexus. I seem to remember him getting whipped. And that seems like a Punk thing. Or maybe he was kicked out when Punk took over. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I don't remember who was the. I don't know if it was the Punk or the Wade Barrett version, but yeah, he started with the Nexus, and then he moves on. He gets the repackaged deal. Now he's like the Swamp Bray Wyatt. He's got the Wyatt family. I
Which
remember
has
when.
to be
Hmm.
one of my favorite characters ever. That's like right up there with The Undertaker for me.
Yeah, and then I remember when they debuted, and they're coming out of the thing with the mask, Braun
Yeah.
Strowman, and this was like when Braun Strowman was like so intimidating because he was like fat but still jacked, which I don't even know how that's possible. Like he had the big gut, but he's like,
He was a strong man.
yeah, he had the big gut, but he's like cut up, got the abs
Now he's
showing through the gut.
now he's lean and it looks like he eats tuna.
Looks like he's on keto. Speaking of which, he did. He was back at the tribute here, and he did.
Oh
He had
yeah, he was.
hair. It was weird,
I
and
didn't
he got a
notice
new
that.
tattoo.
He did get a new tattoo. So did Karrion Cross.
Yes, they got the fireflies. The firefly tattoo. Um, a lot of people on online were talking about they were going to get it too, which is a little weird. But like, I don't know why you're just a fan and then you're getting a tattoo of Bray Wyatt's logo. But
Well, at least it's not like his face or something.
yeah, there is that. Uh, now, also to note here, though, the WWE, they are doing a good thing. Uh, any purchase, any merchandise that's purchased for Bray Wyatt, they're going to be donating that because he does have, the two younger kids. He has four kids total, I believe. There's two younger kids and then two older kids from his first marriage, and then his now widow, his widower,
The lady he's met in sin.
widower.
It's a widow. A widower is the dude.
Okay, his widow. She's now gonna have to take care of the kids. So WWE, any merchandise purchased for Bray Wyatt is gonna be donated to her for that. So that is a good thing.
Are you gonna get a Bray Wyatt shirt?
I think I am. I just have to look around, and I'm gonna get one for our listeners. We'll do a giveaway.
Get one for me too.
I said we'll do a giveaway, then you got to win it.
Oh, well, that should be easy.
You'll be the only one answer.
Yeah.
Also,
Unless John beats me to it.
yeah, just don't clip it, and then we'll.
Right. Yeah, we're about an hour in. I think I'm safe. So back to SmackDown. Yeah, so they honored Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt all night. They start off with the 10 bell salute, like you said. Braun Strowman was there. Eric Rowan was there.
Yep, red
And
beard.
then they moved on to a Bray Wyatt video package, which it was really nice. I mean, it's a WWE video package, so it's going to be fucking A plus. There was a really nice moment where the crowd just starts singing "He has the whole world in his hands," which they did that. I don't know if you saw Jericho. He was at a concert that he was doing, and he started talking about Bray Wyatt, and then the crowd, they started just singing "He's got the whole world in his hands." It's just really nice moment.
No, I missed that.
And then the camera moves to a spotlight that shines on an empty rocking chair. And I thought Randy Orton destroyed it.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
Okay. All right. And then after that, we get a Terry Funk video package. And yeah, it was a video package. It was really nicely done as well. And then we get some wrestling. First match is Rey Mysterio versus Grayson Waller in a non-title match. And Mysterio comes out without his belt for some weird reason. And I thought it looked really weird, especially for a champion. Theory comes out. He causes a distraction. Then Escobar comes out, and then he and Theory get into it. Theory chops Escobar's leg. And despite having help from Theory, Waller loses to a 50-year-old 5'6" Rey Mysterio,
Who's also the champion.
who's also the champion. Rey magically has the belt at the end of the match as well.
Escobar brought it out, I think.
Oh, did he?
I think I remember saying that.
Okay. So then we move on to damage control backstage. The lady brings up New York's own Zelina Vega beating Io twice previously. Remember that before the Money in the, I think it was the Money in the Bank match, they wrestled twice.
Yes.
So Bailey says both wins were flukes, and Io is a once in a generational talent. That brings us to Io Sky and Zelina Vega. For some reason, Io comes out first, which I think is just another sign of disrespect to this championship. And it's just, I don't know, that's never a good sign to me. It was pretty much over after Io threw Vega into the steel stairs. Io wins clean with the moonsault. I thought she should have crushed Zelina. It was way too competitive for my liking.
I don't have anything to say.
Okay. So that moves on, brings us to Cody Rhodes. He's in the ring. He talks about Terry Funk. He talks about how he called his dad an egg sucking dog, and I guess he had some choice words for his grandma too. He says Terry and Bray Wyatt were real cowboys, which okay. And then they play another Terry Funk video package, and then Cody announces that the next match will be a Terry Funk hardcore tag team match. Which, my God, you were not kidding that they do not have anything for Cody Rhodes.
I mean, I could see why he was there to pump up the match, but yeah, there wasn't like, or no, I'm sorry, to do the tribute thing. But yeah, this why? Why?
Right. So that leads us to the Brawling Brutes versus what I've been calling the Almighty Prophets. Until tonight, because the Prophets, they still have their goddamn solo cups. They still have the goddamn solo dance.
Well,
Like, seriously.
okay. To their defense, it seems as if they, at least for this one night, they like completely dropped the whole whatever the whole gimmick of what they're doing right now. They like completely dropped it because the week before they didn't come out to solo cups. They weren't.
They didn't
dancing
get an
and
entrance to the week
gyrating.
before. They didn't have an entrance though.
I know, and I'm saying they.
So we don't know. They could have came out with the solo cups.
Well, I'm saying they didn't do it. I'm thinking they didn't do that because they were holding off on the, or maybe they didn't have the entrance put together yet, the new entrance. But yeah,
But why would they have
They
to come
just,
out
like-
with the solo cups?
they just like went through a time portal. Someone forgot this whole thing was happening, and they were just like,
And Bobby Lashley came out though.
I'm just saying the solo cups. I thought it didn't fit. What they
It didn't. That's what you interrupted me. What I'm saying, it didn't fit. They still have the fucking solo cups. There's okay, when they debuted last week, they were fucking awesome. I like the new tights. I like Montez Ford's little his little subtle Argyle pattern. I love how intense that they were. I love how they just look like serious fucking dudes. And then added Bobby Lashley's big ass smiling ass. And they teased it with the when Mouthpiece McFingerbang, when he bumped into Lashley, he stopped smiling. He's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" It's just like the drink, but spelled differently.
Yeah, but
now this week they come out. Montez Ford has a stupid fucking solo cup. They got the little solo cup graphics.
yeah, they're doing back to their old entrance.
They're doing their little basketball dance. It makes no goddamn sense.
I'm saying.
Why would they go back to their?
I'm
Why would they go back to their old entrance? No. I see what you're saying. You're telling me that they abandoned it for this night. But
yes.
if they were going to do that, why would they still have Lashley come out and still further that storyline?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what they did it for. It's like, you know what, we don't have it tonight. You do need to make an entrance, so let's just go back to the old entrance. Because they were
We don't need to worry.
weren't they?
We don't
supposed
need
to
to
be
worry
heels?
about storyline, but we're going to throw Lashley out there to further the storyline.
Well, weren't they supposed to be heels? They came out
The
as
Almighty
faces.
Prophets.
They're slapping hands with fans. They were heels 2 weeks ago. They were heel last week. They were heel when they attacked. I forgot who they attacked the first time they came out. The re-debut. They've been heel. And then they came out as faces just last week. Yesterday. Whatever. How are you get? Ah! They were faces. I'm just saying they abandoned it because of the story. This hardcore match, and I put that
But
in
Lashley
heavy
came out to further the story that they're abandoning.
Well,
how is this not registering with you?
let's just say let's not judge it off this week.
Okay.
Because there's something else that's going to happen that was like, okay, let's just treat this as a tribute to the troops week. It is not part of the bigger picture. This is just a tribute show, and that's what it is.
All
That's
right.
why also Ray didn't have a title.
I'm ready as fuck to like them. I really liked them against. I can't remember who they wrestled. Like when Montez did that fucking clothesline, and he was just all serious, and like it looked like he was running at 100 miles an hour. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I want to like them. I want this to be a team that I like. But in order for them to do that, they need to fucking get rid of the goddamn solo cups. I don't need them to shuck and jive.
Well, first of all, solo cups are player.
But they ain't players. It's fucking stupid.
You don't be knowing what's in the cup. Drink up in my cup. Man, hold up. That's a down south stuff for you right there.
White people do that now. It's over.
I don't know.
If you can go on any YouTube video and you see people pretending, oh, when I get my lean on my little Jolly Ranchers. Clarence,
white people are not leaning.
Time for dinner. Yeah, I swear to God.
Okay, it's over. No more lean.
That's what I'm saying.
Golly, you white people have to come and ruin everything. Why can't you just let us have stuff? First of all, Miley Cyrus tried to take over twerking. Twerking was around so far before she was twerking. And then she goes out on there on the MTV stage, twerks her little ass. And then now it's like, oh, this is called twerking. And you got the old white people with their dockers. This is called twerking. You just twerk, which is moving your buttocks.
With their dockers.
And penny loafers. By the way, I heard there's these shoes called driving loafers. I'm like, that has to be the whitest thing I've ever heard about. Like you.
Oh, fuck you!
You're putting on loafers to drive.
I'm sorry. Between the two of us and a lineup, who would be more who would think would be more liable to have 200 pairs of shoes?
Well, that's different.
How is that different?
Like I don't know, driving loafers.
You're telling me that if you have 200 pairs of shoes, you wouldn't have a specific shoe or pair for driving? No. These are my indoor shoes.
And what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to walk to the car. Do you keep the driving loafer in the car so that you get in the car and you put them on?
No, you leave them by the door. Silly. You just take them off when you get home.
in your ragtop Cadillac. That ain't even bad, but yeah, I just heard driving loafers like, golly.
Yeah, you just leave them by the door next to the hook where your smoking jacket is.
And your hat, your top hat.
And your hat. No, you wear a fedora.
Yeah, or the little golf hat with the like.
Oh, the cabbie?
Yeah.
That's more of an outdoor hat. I mean, the fedora is an outdoor hat too, but like more of a gentleman's indoor hat would be the fedora.
Yeah. Take your dame out with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just go home, you take off your driving loafers, and you put on your house shoes, and you get your smoking jacket. Well, you got to get your smoking suit first, and then you can put on your smoking jacket, and then you can relax.
Yeah.
That's how white people relax. All right, so we get the Almighty Prophets, they do their sky high neckbreaker move through a table for the win. And I believe that was the only time they used a table. So
yeah, this was billed as
hardcore.
a hardcore match, and the only thing I
It
saw
was-
was like just the table.
Yeah, same.
Like there's no thumbtacks, there's no barbed wire baseball bats.
No bombs.
Yeah. It was just the table, and that's your hardcore.
It's like they don't give a shit about Terry Funk. They desecrated Terry Funk's name.
Like, how dare you say this is a hardcore?
From the fucking solo cups to the goddamn single table. It was just a travesty.
Yeah. Who thought that was enough of a tribute?
Triple H.
I don't know. Triple H, he did the hardcore thing. Or maybe it's because they were on Fox, so they had to
I don't know.
play
It
it
was just,
safe.
they shouldn't have made it a hardcore match. They could have made it a Terry Funk tag team match. And it wouldn't have been, aside from the solo cups, it wouldn't have been that bad.
I know. Put someone through a flaming table. Hit someone with a barbed wire baseball bat. Hit someone
Anything.
with
Fight in the stands.
Hit someone with slam someone on some thumbtacks. They haven't done thumbtacks so long in WWE. I don't even think they do it anymore.
Put someone in a dumpster and throw them off the ramp.
Yeah.
So many wasted opportunities. Moving on, we get LA Knight. He says a lot of good things about Bray Wyatt. He says his greatest foes are sometimes your greatest helpers. And then he talks shit about The Miz. And that leads us to LA Knight versus Finn Balor. And I didn't watch this because we spent all of that time going through the draft and the fucking roster split. They try to force feed a secondary title down our throat to make us believe that it's on par with Roman's. And we get on this SmackDown Finn fucking Balor versus LA Knight. Finn fucking Balor, who was in the main event with Damian Priest against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They have 100 people on this goddamn roster. And Finn Balor is pulling double duty for both shows. How does that make sense?
Well, this was and that's what I said. This whole show was like a tribute to the troops, because this was
It wasn't though, because they furthered storylines.
Well, the match was because LA Knight was Bray Wyatt's last opponent. Finn Balor was one of the more notable opponents of Bray Wyatt, as that was the debut of the Fiend. Seth Rollins, he couldn't make it to the show. He didn't make it to the show. I don't know if he couldn't.
He said he'd have to sacrifice time with his with Becky. Like, you work with her.
Well, I'm saying, so I don't know if he couldn't make it or he didn't make it, because that excuse sounds like he didn't want to go.
He's like, I'd come, but I'd have to sacrifice, my time.
Yeah, that excuse sounds like you didn't go, not that you couldn't go. Like, it's okay. Like Alexa Bliss, she said she couldn't go. She couldn't get a flight last minute.
And
But
they're both on Raw. You know they travel together.
yeah, they travel on the. They used to have the bus. I don't know if they still
So
have it.
I mean, you're telling me this one time you can't fucking make time to stand for a 10 bell salute? Or I don't want to see Seth Rollins either, though. He's on Raw. And LA Knight, he's flip flopping back and forth. Like, why can't they fucking just be consistent?
Well, I'm saying for a situation like this, if you want to tie in someone, there's not a lot of people you could tie in on the active roster that's actually, you know, done something with Bray.
John Cena.
Not there.
He
And
could have
he's
been
coming
there.
next week, so
He
you
could have
can't be
been.
paying for John Cena 2 nights in a row.
Why not?
I don't know. And when we're going to see John Cena wrestle on a random SmackDown tribute show, though, I guess that's why.
Didn't he wrestle Roman Reigns on the SmackDown with Kevin Owens?
That wasn't a random SmackDown. That was a super SmackDown or something like that. It was with Sami Zayn.
I don't
No,
think it was a Super
it
SmackDown.
was with Kevin Owens. It was, I don't know. I missed that week. So that was the week out. It
It
was the
was
vacation week.
it was the last SmackDown of the year. I think that was the only
Yeah.
significance to it.
Yeah.
Because Cena's like, I haven't wrestled in SmackDown this year. So he had to get his little one.
But I don't know. Maybe they did have Eric Rowan there, Eric Redbeard. He could have done a match. Braun Strowman's hurt.
Yeah. Well, he's probably not signed though, so they probably wouldn't let him get in the ring.
Well, it's a tribute show. I mean, you could have
So
brought back Uncle Howdy and taken his mask off
yeah, they
and
could have
called
had Bo
him Bo
Dallas. He's
Dallas.
signed. Bo Dallas. Have Bo Dallas do something. Bo Dallas versus anybody. Just have Bo Dallas wrestle. They could have done something meaningful with his brother. Instead of having fucking Finn Balor and goddamn LA Knight.
Well, that's the one that they wanted to go with. They thought that those two were significant opponents of Bray Wyatt.
Well, they thought wrong.
I mean, outside of like Randy Orton, there wasn't a lot of people who were, especially now on the main roster, there wasn't a lot of people who were like big Bray Wyatt.
Kane.
Not there.
He
And
could be
he's a
there.
governor. Was he going to come wrestle the governor? A Republican governor at that. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not saying anything of that nature. But what I am saying, what I'm saying is, wherever governor, city, or state, or whatever he's governor of, I don't think they wanted their governor coming out in a mask wrestling. Like
Only
when
if he
you're supposed to be
loses.
signing bills.
He's got to win. If he wins, they'll be proud of him.
I know, but he's, what do people
And
say about the
I don't think he's
president?
a governor. I think he's like the mayor of some small town in Tennessee. I think he'll be all right if he wrestles one night.
I don't know. That's what people say though. Oh, why aren't you signing bills? Because you should be doing that 24/7, just fixing our economy and signing bills. Why are you out here wrestling? So yeah. He didn't want his approval rating to be dropping.
And if he was signing bills, they would say, "Why aren't you signing more bills?" So he's damned if he does it, and damned if he doesn't. So Kane, and then
And also, he's like 60.
so you could do a choke slam.
That's about all he can do.
He can do a choke slam and raise the arms and The wonder of the world is got. So then SmackDown ends with Wyatt's lamp in the middle of the ring, and it fades to black. And it was a really weird SmackDown.
It was a tribute show.
It,
It's just, I
sure.
guess this was just a weird week of wrestling. I mean, Raw felt just like a glorified house show. So everybody's speaking damn French.
Yeah.
And SmackDown was obviously a tribute show because of what happened.
Yeah, SmackDown was kind of a throwaway. I'll grant you that.
I mean, I would say they shouldn't even have done any matches. They should have just through the coming in from commercial, going out to commercial, they were doing like moments for Bray Wyatt.
They should have just done Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk matches.
Yeah, it would have been. I think it would have been better served as just like straight,
Just a
just a
tribute.
tribute show. But
Yeah.
uh, as we said, now I'm not saying in any way that this is equivalent. But last time they did a tribute show, and you said it was Chris Benoit that did not turn out 24 hours later that it was a good thing. And I'm not saying
Well,
we're
I,
anywhere
I
close to that, but I'm just saying,
I think we're well safe in saying that nothing like that is going to happen with Bray Wyatt.
right.
If anything, we'll find out like Bray Wyatt like used to dress as a lady or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, they could have done a tribute, just like a straight tribute show. Give 1 hour to Terry Funk, give 1 hour to Bray Wyatt, like do their most notable matches, or I'm sure Terry Funk won championships back in his time. Do like moments he won the title.
Although you do have a live audience that you gotta
Fuck them live
do
audience.
something with. They paid the tickets.
They can refund. WWE can eat that. Hey, we're gonna
Okay.
refund. We're not gonna put it on the show tonight. You get your money back. We'll validate your parking. Next time we're here, everybody gets a ticket.
I think that's a perfect way to move on to our upcoming pay-per-view because Monday is our go home show. And that means this weekend is Payback.
It is Payback.
And I think we should go over some predictions. So, in order of importance, let's go Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. Who do you got?
Really? That's your least important? Ah, how about that? Can't take it back now. And I have Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I stand by that. Yeah, of course, Becky Lynch. Has Trish Stratus won any of the matches that they've had, or
Yeah, she won that one. And what was it?
okay,
Saudi. She won that one.
okay, all right, yeah, Becky Lynch. Next, we have Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship.
I go Ray. Talking about a throwaway match. And I guess Ray.
I'm, you know what? I'm going to say Austin Theory. I think for some reason, I think they're going to kind of push the Escobar Rey Mysterio thing.
Okay. So he cost Ray the title.
Yeah. Prediction. Next, we have Rhea Ripley versus No Definition Rodriguez.
Rhea Ripley. Not even close.
Right. There's no way that Rodriguez wins. Next, we have the Miz versus LA Knight.
And I think LA Knight takes the win because it's Gatekeeper Miz.
I think the Miz has a goon that helps him beat LA Knight. Didn't he say he had somebody?
I don't remember him saying that, but he
Okay.
could have. And maybe he does have like Bronson Reed in his pocket.
Oh, I already said it. Can't take it back now. Then we have Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
And I said all those good things about Shinsuke at the beginning. Video package makes him look like he's actually a main eventer. So it's going to be weird when he cannot beat this broken backed Seth Rollins, but I think that's where we're going.
Well, I've said at the beginning of this feud that this is when Priest cashes in. So I wouldn't be surprised if Shinsuke does win. But you know what? No, I think Shinsuke's going to lose. But Priest is going to cash in on Rollins. Because he's going to be broken with his back and shit.
All right, you're predicting your cash in.
Yes. I said it at the beginning of the feud. I got to stay consistent, even if I'm wrong.
All right. I'm still holding. I missed the first one, obviously, but I'm still holding
Yes.
in to my second cash.
Okay. I also not listed on the card yet, but just kind of a looking into the crystal ball. I think Gunther and Gable will have a rematch at Payback, and this is also in order of importance. So Gunther versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental title. Hypothetically, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be added to the card, and I got Gunther.
Yeah, I think Gunther finally gets his win against Chad Gable, a decisive win. And yeah, it'll be a good one. It might be a match of the year candidate.
Could be. Definitely if they're given time, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they don't do any bullshit. Like Gunther, I don't know. I think he's above a bullshit finish.
Yeah, I mean the only way they do a bullshit finish is to try to get this extended again. Because
Right.
again, Gunther now what we would be 11 days away from him taking the longest reign. So they're trying to extend it so that I don't think he dropped. It wouldn't make sense though for him to like get to one day after the reign, or get the longest reign one day after, and then he loses the title.
Yeah.
But also that would be a shocking thing because no one would see that coming. So
Honky Tonk Man lost to Ultimate Warrior in like what, 10 seconds?
yeah, ridiculous. Although I was not like a honky tonk man type of person. Like I didn't know anything about him. I knew he had the title. I was an Ultimate Warrior person, so
I
it
liked him.
popped me.
I like the shake, rattle, and roll. I also like when he debuted with Rockabilly.
Oh, that's way too far from me.
That's not too far. The rock
I don't remember
Billy
that.
Billy Gunn
I don't remember it.
Billy Gunn Billy Gunn was the Smoking Guns, and then he went away for a little while. That's when Bart did the Brawl for All, and they split. And then Billy came with the Honky Tonk Man as his mentor. He was Rockabilly. He did a little swinging neckbreaker as his finish.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. I'm sure if I see it again, I'll remember it. But
Yeah, I'll send you videos. And then he became the Mr. Ass after that.
And then that was the last thing he would have to do.
That's not true because he did that weird gimmick with Chuck Palumbo.
Oh. Yeah. Not too much we can really say about that one without getting the show taken down.
Right. But that is all I have on the agenda.
There's also a Grayson
Yep.
Waller effect that's apparently
Oh.
going to happen at Payback, which is weird. Maybe that leads to a impromptu match. Cody's going to win that if it does. So,
wow. Brock Lesnar to Grayson Waller.
yeah. Now, a quick question for you here.
Yep.
Because they've been teasing John Cena's coming back. So, what do you think he's gonna? What is John Cena coming back for? You think anybody who's gonna feud with anybody? Obviously, he needs to be in the ring with LA Knight, but I don't know what else they do after that.
I don't know. I haven't really given John Cena much thought.
Oh,
because I mean, he at WrestleMania he wrestled Theory, so he's not. I don't know. I don't think they're considering him affecting anybody in like the big top tier.
well, he's been teasing Gunther, but you know,
Cena.
yeah, because I believe that's like the one title that's keeping him from being a Grand Slam champion. So
Is the Intercontinental title?
yeah, so he's been teasing that.
Oh boy.
Gunther responded and said he was ready, but
of course he did.
I don't know if that's actually going to come to TV.
Man, I don't know about that one. That might be a nut Gunther can't crack. Not in terms of winning or losing the match, just Cena's not good.
I mean, he's over.
Of course he is.
Gunther
Yeah,
over.
absolutely.
Now the problem is he gonna? Cena's not he's not shy from like burying people, so he's gonna go out there and cook Gunther on the mic.
Well, the last time we saw him, he lost to Austin Theory. So if Gunther beats Cena at this point, does it really matter?
But look what he did to Theory. He cooked him. He told him they don't care about you. It doesn't matter if you beat me. Like they don't care.
I don't think
no one cares about Theory.
I don't think Gunther's gonna have a war of words with Cena. That's not Gunther style.
So maybe we don't do Cena. But it does. He does need to be in the ring with LA Knight. Let's get that out the way. Just
that would be okay, I guess.
I don't think he needs to. I'm not saying they need to wrestle, but they need to have some kind of promo deal. I mean, we're talking about when that time when The Rock and Hogan they were in the ring, and then Stone Cold came out. That was like that WrestleMania. Stone Cold came out. It was like a nostalgic thing.
I think putting LA Knight in the ring with somebody that can promo better than him is a mistake. Like I think the Miz out promoted him.
Okay. So you do think the Miz sent him back to the mid card, as they said?
No, I don't think he sent him back to the mid card. I just think Miz is a better promo. He's been doing it longer on the big stage, quote unquote.
Well, the Miz is
like seriously. We saw LA Knight as Eli Drake, and then we saw him as the Maximum Male Models guy. We saw him in Impact. Some of us saw him in Impact. So I mean, he hasn't really.
NWA. He was in the NWA.
Was he?
Yeah, right before.
Oh,
he was NWA right. I think that was right before he went to WWE.
But he's not like he's not doing promos in front of like thousands and thousands of people like the Miz is consistently. So he's just not as polished. So no, I just think he got out promoted, and I think like putting him with Cena goes for blood. It's like he actively tries to just shit on whoever he's promoting with. And I don't think LA Knight's ready for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not as opponents. I just think you put them both in the ring and they do something. Maybe they both like, I don't know, shit on Grayson Waller or something.
Yeah, but I don't know if they get into a shit talking match, then Cena would have to have the better shit talking line. I don't know.
I don't know, but Cena will be back. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, just to see. It'll be interesting to see. But I think on that note, are we out of stuff?
I'm out of stuff.
Well, on that note, if you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments below. If you agree with anything, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button. I didn't do this mid-show, so now I got to do it now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, and buy some Bray Wyatt merch if you can. And then till next time, top guys out. And to honor a little bit of Bray Wyatt, let us in. I don't know if I did that good, but there you go.